Hello, hello, everyone. Breakout Studio Yogis. Welcome to Yoga Flow. My name is Rob. We got a student in class today. Please have a comfortable seat. We'll get started here. It is week number 3 for the Breakout Yoga Flow class. And I do have to say, like, throughout the pandemic, online teaching has become more comfortable for me. But now that people are back, in the studio, it's just as odd to me now. So, if you're new to yoga, if you're returning to yoga, if you're a student that's on a Patreon membership and you do both online and possibly in class, we'd love to have you in the studio near Speedway and Craycroft at Breakout. With that, we'll be doing a yoga flow today, but as always, if you haven't joined me online before or in person, as I was telling Jordan here, that I'll always give safety and strength cues in my classes, no matter what, and that's for the sake of longevity, for not only your yoga practice, but your activities off your mat. So I always think that's important to say up front, just in case you're used to maybe more of a free flow class where you're just kind of moving with your body. I think it's important to have those structures or those cues in place, at least in our minds, to remember to strengthen in certain areas before we just start moving our bodies in maybe ways that we might not see as potentially harming or damaging. So with that, let's begin. Have a comfortable seat. Feel free to soften your gaze as you look down at your mat or close your eyes. Before each and every class, it's important to recognize and pay attention to our breath. Without judgment, notice what's going on with our bodies, our minds. To recognize those pieces of our lives that we're bringing onto our mats, both good and bad, and without judgment, sitting with what is as it is here and now. And as we invite all of that in to our practice, let us remember that these poses, these movements are meant to bring freedom and resilience and to never cause harm. So whether you're in person or online, to remember not to move beyond your limits, be where you're at today. Don't feel like you have to push yourself beyond those limits. And as a way of honoring that and honoring our able bodies that have brought us to practice today, we'll begin with the sound Om, singing the sound Om 3 times to create one sound. Feel free to sing along or absorb as you listen. You can keep your hands on your lap or your knees, or place your hands to heart center. Thumbs press against your sternum as you lift your sternum up into your thumbs. And as you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, soften your shoulders and your skin. Inhale once more. Release your hands, open your eyes. Begin on hands and knees, all fours. With your arms and your upper legs straight up and down. Bring your big toes to touch and bring your knees wider than your hips. Slowly shift your hips back toward your heels as you crawl your hands forward. Come up high into your fingertips as you crawl your hands forward for child's pose. or Balasana. You can rest your forehead on the floor, a blanket, or a block if you have one. And as you stay high up onto your fingertips, lengthen the sides of your body. Lift your armpits away from the floor. Squeeze your knees isometrically, so moving without movement, in towards one another. As you breathe, see if you can't crawl your hands a few centimeters more forward. So you take one more inhalation, exhalation here. And then crawl your hands back. Come up on the hands and knees, all fours. Bring your knees all the way together. Close your fingers and turn your hands around 180 degrees so your fingers point at your knees. If that's too much on your wrists, you can point your fingers off to the left and right or the long edges of your mat. Wherever you're at, grip the floor with your fingertips to strengthen your wrists. If your palms or your fingers are pointing back, point the eyes of your elbows forward. Lift your chin and look forward. Tone your low belly. Come to a strong core as you lift your left leg up and back. Point your foot, straighten your leg, square your hips, meaning lower the outer edge of your left hip slightly. Try to lift your left leg from the inner edge of your left thigh. Continue to look forward. Keep your belly strong. Lower down, switch sides, right leg up and back. Point your foot, straighten your leg, square your hips. Lower the outer edge of your right hip. Try to lift that right leg from the inner edge of your thigh. So you're toning and using the muscles in the inner edge of your right leg. Take one more breath here. As you exhale, lower down. Turn your hands back around. Have a seat back on your heels. Interlace your fingers. Point your palms out and away from you. Now before you lift your arms up and back, move your lower ribs down and back. Tighten your core. Lift your sternum up, and then stretch your arms up. As you squeeze your knees in and press your feet down, imagine the base or your legs touching the floor, helping you create length through your spine, your arms. As you lift your chin slightly, stretch up. And as you exhale, release. Interlace your fingers behind your low back. Squeeze your shoulders onto your back. Lift your sternum up. And maybe exhale, fold forward, bring your forehead to or toward your knees. Round your back. Maybe begin to straighten your arms to or towards capacity. And that's not a requirement. You can always keep your elbows back. If your arms are straight, continue to move your shoulders away from the floor. Round your back more. Inhale, come back up to center. Lift up. Release your hands. Create fists with your hands, and as if you were flicking off water, separate your fingers and flick your fingers away. Maybe even do a little shaking out of your wrists. Downward facing dog. We'll get started with the flow portion. So index fingers parallel to each other, meaning hands are turned out ever so slightly. Curl your toes under. Feet hip distance apart. Shift your hips up and back. Relax your neck. Let your head hang long like a ripe piece of fruit. Keep your stance short. Here as you bend your knees, move your low back, belly in toward your thighs. Maybe begin to straighten one leg at a time. It's a little down dog jog. Move from one heel to the next, working one heel closer to the floor, and then the other. Straighten both legs if you wish. Keep that natural curve in your low back. Bend your knees and look forward. Step or lightly hop forward to the front of your mat. As you inhale, hold on to your shins, straighten your legs, come to a flat back, look forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend your knees as much as you need to fold. Hands by your feet. Relax your neck, lengthen your spine once again. Do that twice more with your breath as you inhale. Come to a flat back, look forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale once again, flat back, rise halfway. Exhale, look forward. Or exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up towards the ceiling. Reach up. Exhale, mountain pose. Wiggle your feet all the way together. Arms alongside your torso. As you root down through your feet, lift your sternum up, reach your arms up. Try to keep your torso as upright as possible as you begin to bend your knees into an imaginary chair. It might be like you're sitting back into a bar stool at first, so bend your knees just a little bit as you move more weight into your heels. Get light in your toes. Try to keep your arms moving up and back as you sink a little bit deeper in your thighs. Keep your belly strong. Move your ribs down. Move your arms up and back. Inhale, stand back up. Reach up, look up. Exhale, fold forward, touch down. Inhale, rise halfway, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot back, please. Curl your back toes under, keep your back legs straight and strong. Inhale, sweep your arms up toward the ceiling. This is crescent lunge or warrior one lunge. Back heel up off the floor. As you reach up, keep your low ribs moving down and back. Biceps behind your ears. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Lower your right hand to the floor inside your right leg. Twist off to the left. Maybe reach your left arm up. Revolve lunge. Keep your glutes strong. Continue to square your hips so your left hip moves back, your right hip moves forward. Exhale, look down. Lower your left hand. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot back. Back leg straight and strong. Tighten your glutes. Square your hips. Inhale, rising. As you sink deeply into your right thigh, move your low ribs down and back. Stretch your arms up and back. Lift your chin slightly as you breathe evenly. One more inhalation here. As you exhale, right hand to right hip, left hand to the floor inside your right leg. Begin to twist off to the right. Maybe reach your right arm up. Stack your arms, stack your shoulders. Twist more to the left side of your belly, off to the right. Look down at the floor. Touch down, step your left foot forward. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky, reach up, look up. Exhale, mountain pose, lower your arms. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, fold forward, touch down. Inhale, rise halfway, look forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump back to plank pose, top of a push-up. Option here to lower your knees. Lower down halfway as you bend your elbows. Hover here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Tops of feet to the floor. Keep your hands as they are. Move your shoulders onto your back to look forward. Squeeze your elbows in towards your ribcage. You can stay here in a baby cobra or lift up into cobra pose. Low ribs come up off the floor. Push your hands down and back to move your belly, your torso forward. Exhale, lower down. Curl your toes under. Either press up hands and knees or up to that hover. Bottom of a push-up. Back to plank. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up and back. Bend your knees. Stack your hips. So open up your right hip on top of your left. Straighten your right leg. Step your right foot forward. In between your hands. Lower your left knee to the floor. Keep your left toes curled under, please. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Monkey lunge or Anjaneyasana. All the same things apply to your torso here. Low ribs move down. Arms stretch up and back. Move your head back slightly. Lower your right hand to your right thigh. Use that hand to help you twist. Left elbow outside of your right knee. Bring your palms together, point your right elbow up. Look down at your toes for balance. Stay here, or straighten your left leg. As you tone and turn the left side of your belly off towards the right, you can stay with your gaze moving downward, or look to the side, maybe up towards the ceiling, past your right shoulder. Look back down at the floor, untwist, touch down, step your left foot forward. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up, reach up. Look up. Exhale, lower your arms by your torso, mountain. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, touch down, fold forward. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump back, plank pose. Knees on or off the floor, lower down, bottom of the push-up. Lower all the way down, tops of feet to the floor, curl up, cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower down, curl your toes under, press up hands and knees, or bottom of a push-up, back to plank, then down dog. Lift your left leg up and back, point your foot, straighten your leg, or bend your knees, stack your hips, left hip on top of your right. Straighten your left leg, step your left foot forward in between your hands. Lower your back knee to the floor. Keep your right toes curled under. Inhale, reach up. Anjaneyasana. Do all the right things in your torso, your ribs, your arms here. But keep those glutes tight. Square your hips. As you stretch up, stretch your right hip flexor, your right thigh. Lower left hand to your left thigh. Twist. Right arm outside your left leg. Palms together. Point your left elbow up. Look down at your left foot. Do or don't straighten your right leg as you twist more the right side of your belly off to the left. Gaze down at the floor, directly to the side, or up towards the ceiling. Breathe evenly. Look down as you untwist, plant your hands, step your right foot forward. Inhale, rise halfway to a flat back. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up towards the sky, reach up, look up. Exhale, mountain, lower your arms. Bring your arms out to a bent arm T or saguaro cactus-like arm. Wrap your right arm underneath your left. Hold opposite shoulders at first is an option here. Or place backs of hands, maybe palms together. As you stretch your shoulders here, try to lift your sternum up as you pull your elbows down. You can stay here or here, or bend your knees. Lift your right leg up off the floor, knee in toward your chest. Maybe wrap your right leg over your left, single or double wrap. If you're single wrapping your leg, flex your foot, flare your toes. Otherwise, bring your right big toe to your left Achilles tendon, or just behind your left calf. Squeeze your legs in, squeeze your shoulders in as you stretch the crown of your head up and back. Sometimes it helps with balance to move your head back in line with your hips. Stand back up, Tadasana, mountain pose. Same thing, second side. Arms out to a bent arm T or saguaro cactus. Wrap your left arm underneath your right. Hold opposite shoulders is an option here. Or backs of hands, maybe palms together. Lift your sternum up, move your elbows down, tighten your core, move your ribs down. Bend your knees. Stay here, or lift your left knee up into your chest. Maybe wrap left leg over your right. If you're single wrapping, keep those left feet flexed, flare your toes. Otherwise, bring your left big toe to your Achilles tendon. Squeeze your legs in, shoulders in. Move your elbows down as you stretch the crown of your head up. Move your head back in space. Stand up, please. Mountain. Come to the middle of your mat. Reach your arms out parallel to the floor, palms facing in. Step your right foot forward, one big step. Hinge at your hips. Lower your arms, your spine parallel to the floor. Maybe point your left foot, either top of your left foot to the floor, or lift your left leg up. In line with your arms, your spine. Square your hips. Lower the outer edge of your left hip slightly. Lift from the inner edge of your left thigh. Inhale, come back to center. Mountain. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, palms together to heart center. Lower your arms down. Arms out parallel. step your left foot forward, one big step. Bend your left knee and then lower your arms, your spine towards parallel. Maybe point your right foot, keep the top of your right foot on the floor, or lift your right leg up. You can keep your standing leg, your left leg slightly bent for balance, but if it's straight, make it strong. Tighten the muscles around your kneecaps. Square your hips. Lower the outer edge of your right hip slightly. Lift from the inner edge of your right thigh. Come out of warrior 3, back into mountain. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, palms together. Just keep your palms at heart center, just face the long edge of your mat. Bring just face forward this one, Jordan, if you want. Bring your fingers in, point your elbows out, bend your knees, step or jump wide to a wide stance, which equals ankles underneath your wrists. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees, left toes in ever so slightly. Bring your hands slightly above your shoulder line. Look over your right hand. Inhale. Exhale, bend your right knee. Warrior 2. A good reminder or marker here is to make sure your right knee is not tracing over your ankle. If it is, take a wider stance. Wiggle your back foot back so your knee is more or less in line or just behind your right ankle. As you keep your arms parallel, try to move your right knee off to the right. Tuck your imaginary tail in between your legs. As you tighten your core, move your ribs down. Soften your gaze. Soften your breath. On your next inhale, turn your right palm open. Left hand lightly to your left leg. Reach your right arm up and slightly back. So we're going for length on our right side as you reach up and back. Lower your right forearm to your right leg. Lift your left arm up and overhead. Point your left palm down towards the floor. Imagine a straight line moving from your left leg up into your left arm. Inhale. Come back up, straighten your right leg. Hands to your hips. Rest your shoulders. Turn your right toes in, left toes out 90 degrees. Bring your arms parallel to the floor. Hands slightly above shoulder height here. Inhale, look over your left hand. Exhale, bend your left knee. Warrior 2. Make sure your left knee is in line or just behind your left heel. Make sure it's not tracing over that heel. And as you root down through your feet, tuck your tailbone in between your legs, move your ribs down, lift your sternum up, stretch out through your hands. As you soften your gaze, soften your jaw, soften your breath. Turn your left palm open. As you inhale, lower your right hand lightly to your right leg, reach up and slightly back, reverse warrior. On your next exhale, lower your left forearm to your left knee, reach your right arm up and overhead, point your right palm down. Create that imaginary line from your right arm up and down to your right leg, the right side of your torso. On your next inhale, come back to center, straighten your left leg, turn both feet parallel, swing your arms once or twice. Bring your fingers in, elbows out, bend your knees, step or jump back, middle of your mat, Tadasana. Stay in the middle of your mat, just face the one short edge of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees, catch onto your right foot with your right hand back behind you. Pull your heel in toward your hip. Squeeze your shoulders onto your back, lift your sternum up. Bring your left arm parallel to the floor. Palm facing in. Stay here, work here, or begin to hinge forward without kicking your right leg up and back. Hinge to your capacity. And once you've reached your capacity, maybe kick your right leg up and back. Tighten your glutes, square your hips, lower the outer edge of your right hip slightly. Try to lift that right leg from the inner edge of your right thigh. back up towards center. Release your right leg. Hands to your hips. Bend your knees. Find your balance on your right foot. Maybe reach back, hold your left foot with your left hand. As you pull your heel in toward your hip, try to lift your torso up, sternum up. Maybe bring your right arm out, parallel to the floor, palm facing in. Now keep heel moving toward your hip. As you begin to hinge forward, reach forward. Pause when you reach your max or your capacity. Maybe kick your left leg up and back so your heel moves away from your hip. But keep those hips square. Try to lift from the inner edge of your left thigh as you lower the outer edge of your left hip down. Inhale, come back up to center. Tadasana, release your arms by your torso. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, touch down, fold forward. Inhale, rise halfway, look forward. Walk your hands back out, feet back, downward facing dog. Take a few moments here, a few breaths here. Bend your knees as much as you need to reduce any rounding in your low back. Wiggle your feet all the way together. Wiggle your feet back about an inch or two. Come into a side plank, roll to your outer edge of your right foot, your right hand. Option here is to step your left foot out in front of you like a kickstand as you lift your hips up. Maybe reach your left arm up. Maybe reach your left arm overhead. Stretch your left side. Come back into down dog, feet together. Stay in that long stance. Come up high onto your toes, roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Left hand. Do or don't, step your right foot out in front of you as an option as you reach your right arm up. Maybe reach your right arm overhead. Right palm faces down as you stretch your right side. Lower your right hand, come back into down dog, feet together. Keep your feet together here as you lower your knees. Walk your hands back. Maybe have a seat on your heels. We're stretching the bottoms of our feet here. So this may be intense for some of us, especially dancers. So feel free to come back forward and just lower your fingertips in front of your knees if you need to. Stay here for a moment, focusing just on your breath. Lower your fingertips out in front of your knees. Lift your knees up and widen your knees. Keep your feet towards one another. So come into a deep squat. Crawl your hands forward to bring length to either side of your torso. Your heels can stay up here as you do or don't wrap your arms in front of your shins, so almost to your armpits. And if your heels are still up, feel free to catch onto your heels with your hands. As you round your back, squeeze your knees in, curl up into a ball here. Pause here. Bring your hands back out, plant your hands about shoulder width apart out in front of you. So almost like you were setting up for down dog. Squeeze your knees in, round your back, so create that tension like we just did. Come up high onto your toes, even lift your hips up away from your heels. Shift forward. Option here to lift one leg at a time as you point one foot, lower the other foot, and lift the opposite up, or bring both feet up off the floor, crow pose, as you squeeze your knees in, round your back, lower your feet, crawl your hands back up, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up and back once again, bend your knees, stack your hips, straighten your leg, step your right foot forward please. Lower your back knee to the floor. This time, the top of your back foot can come down. Wiggle your right foot out about an inch or two to create a little more clearance as you bring both arms, your torso inside your front knee. Stay here as you look forward or bend your elbows. Maybe lower down to your forearms. And as you stay here in a forearm lunge, be sure to use your breath to move your inhalation, your exhalation, into any tight portions of your right hip, your right thighs. Return back to your hands. Wiggle your right foot back in to where it was. Surround your front foot with both hands. Wiggle your right foot forward. And using the top of your left foot, try to move your left knee back. Stay here, work here. Or flex your right foot, flare your toes. Maybe straighten your right leg. Stay here, work here. Or fold forward. This is similar to a runner's stretch, but we want our left knee just behind our left hip. You have the option of folding forward, maybe bringing your forehead to your right knee, right shin. If you're folded forward, come back up. Slide your right heel back. Move your left knee forward. Curl your left toes under. Straighten your left leg. Step forward. Slowly but surely. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Reach up. Mountain pose. Lower your arms by your side. Inhale, sweep up, reach up. Exhale, touch down. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, step back, plank pose. Top of a push-up. Lower all the way down to your belly. This time, place the tops of your feet on the floor. Your feet should be about hip distance apart. This time, move your hands back around your low rib cage region. Squeeze your shoulders onto your back. You can take baby cobra like we've done, or for upward facing dog, lift your chest, lift your hips up off the floor, so your hands and your feet are the only thing touching your mat. Squeeze your shoulders onto your back, move your sternum up, forward, move your head back, your throat back, curl back. Press down through your feet, your hands, lift your hips up, shift back, downward facing dog. Left leg up and back, please. Bend your knee, stack your hips. Straighten your left leg as you step your left foot forward. Lower your back knee, please. This time, top of right foot comes to the floor. Wiggle your left foot off to the left. Bring both hands, your torso inside your left leg. Stay here as you look forward. We'll begin to bend your elbows to capacity. You can lower your forearms to yoga blocks or to the floor. Remember that it might be different or tighter on your left side. So feel free to give yourself the space to come back up to your hands if you need to. Use your breath to open up those tight or quiet places in your left hip, your left thigh. Slowly come back up onto your hands. Wiggle your left foot back in. Place both hands around your left foot. Wiggle your left foot forward. Slide your right knee back. Make sure your right knee is just behind your right hip. As you flex your left foot, pick your foot up off the floor. Flare your toes. And maybe begin to bend your elbows as you fold forward. Placing forehead to or toward your knee. Maybe your shin. Inhale, come back forward. Slide slide your left heel back slowly. Move your right knee forward. Surround your front foot with both hands as you curl your right toes under. Step forward. Inhale as you rise halfway. Come to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. Arms up. Look up. As you exhale, mountain pose. Arms by your torso. Inhale, reach up once again. Exhale, touch down towards the floor. Bend your knees. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. This time, keep your feet hip distance. Lower down all the way. Tops of feet to the floor. Curl up, upward facing dog. Straighten your arms, tighten your glutes. Press down through your hands and your feet. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Have a seat facing the long edge of your mat. Come into a wide leg stance. So bring your feet off to the left and right to your capacity. So that could be different for each and every one of us. As you flex your feet and flare your toes, use the hands to move your skin away from your sit bones. Even rotate your inner thighs down and in, maybe your calves. Fingertips back behind you for more support as you move your low back up and in here. Stay here, work here, or begin to hinge forward. Maybe crawl your hands forward, lower your forearms to or towards the floor. Maybe a yoga block or blanket once again. As you keep your feet flexed, your toes flared. Once again, use your breath to open up the inner edges of your thighs. We've been doing a lot of work at strengthening our inner thighs here. For the stretch, we want to make sure our knees are strong, our feet are activated. Take 2 more breaths here. Inhalation and exhalation. Followed by 1 more inhale, 1 more exhale. Before you inhale, come back up to the center. Place your right hand underneath your right knee. Bend your right knee in and place your right heel at the root of your left thigh. Top of right foot to the floor, so your heel is more or less in the center line of your body. Fingertips back behind you. Begin to twist off toward your straight leg, your left leg. Stay here, work here. Or begin to hinge forward, maybe surrounding your left leg with both hands. Option here to hold on to your left foot. If you can't hold on to your left foot, you can always bend your knee as you fold forward. But if you fold forward, continue to activate your torso. Twist the right side of your belly off towards the left. And if you're folding forward, use the work that we've done on either side of our torso to reach forward, stretch forward. Maybe bring your forehead to or toward your knees or your shins. One more deep inhale. One more deep exhale. Come back up to center, please. Slowly work your right leg back off to the right. Bring your left hand underneath your left knee. Have your left knee in toward your chest. Place the left heel at the root of your right thigh. But make sure the top of your left foot is at the floor so you're almost sickling your feet in a way. Press the top of your left foot down. Flex your right foot. Flare your toes. Use your hands back behind you to help you twist over your straight leg. And when you're ready, maybe come forward, fold forward. Either surround your leg with both hands or catch on to either edge of your feet as you continue to tone and turn left side of belly off to the right. Bend your knee as much as you need to if you're grabbing onto your foot. As you continue to twist, begin to lengthen. It's sometimes helpful to reach our armpits away from the floor or shrug our shoulders in towards our ears and move our elbows out to help us stretch. Either side of our torso, maybe bringing our forehead to or towards our right knee, right shin. Inhale, come back up to center. This time bring your right hand behind your right knee. Hug your knee in. Come into a butterfly pose or Baddha Konasana in Sanskrit. Feet together, knees fall wide with your fingertips back behind you. Lift your hips up and scooch. That's a technical term, scooch your hips as close to your heels as possible. With your fingers behind your low back for support, lift your sternum up. Now I always advise, if your knees are above your belt line, like mine are here, to stay here, upright, and hinge forward more energetically than anything. But you have an option here to fold forward, catch onto your hands with your feet if you're doing so. Keep your toes, your toe mounds, and your heels together. Just pull your arches apart as if they were a book. As you do or don't, fold forward. But especially for those of us at home, you do your best to assess where your body's at in this hour, in this moment. Take the modification or the version that's right for you. If you're folded forward, slowly come back upright. Bring your hands behind your knees. Hug your knees in toward your chest, and then spin off towards the short edge of your mat. Straighten your left leg out onto your mat. Bring your right ankle on top of your left knee, kind of like a figure four here. Begin to bend your left knees. You lean back, place your left foot on the floor. As you flex your right foot, flare your toes. You want to almost create the action of clamping your right knee joint shut. And that's to protect your knee. You want to kick your right heel toward your left hip. You can stay here, or sometimes increases the stretch. You can scoot your hips closer to your left heel. You can stay here, work here. Use your breath to open up that gluteus minimus region, so the smaller part of our glutes. As you stretch. Or for the last few moments, you can baby cradle your right leg, your right shin, by wrapping the eyes of your elbows around your right foot and your right knee. Or you can wrap your elbows underneath your right shin. As you do or don't, straighten your left leg up. Low back moves up and in. As you hug your right knee, right shin closer to your chest. Everyone place your right ankle back on your left knee. Come back forward as you straighten your left leg out. Right leg straightens. Left foot or left ankle comes on top of your right knee this time. With your fingertips back behind you, lean back. Bring your right foot flat to the floor. Flex your left foot, flare your toes, and kick your left heel toward your right hip. Stay here upright. As you move your chest up and forward, option here to scoot your hips closer to your right heel. Or for the last few breaths, you can baby cradle your left leg. Maybe send your right leg out straight. As you continue all those same actions in your left knee, your left foot. Baby cradling your foot, fold forward to set your left ankle back on top of your right knee. Doing release, place your feet back on the floor. Lie down onto your back. And from your low back, bring your arms out to a saguaro cactus-like position. Bring your feet about mat width apart, your heels about a foot away from your hips. Let your knees fall off to the right. Relax your low back, your glutes. Bring your knees back up. Let your knees fall off to the left. Keep that low back relaxed. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, let your knees fall off opposite to the right. Back to center and off to the left. Do that a few more times with your breath. Keeping your low back relaxed. As your legs, your knees move like windshield wipers here. Return to center. Hug your knees in toward your chest. Wrap your arms in front of your shins. Maybe bring your forehead toward your knees. Squeeze in. Curl up into a little ball once again. And release. Straighten your legs out onto your mat. Roll over onto your belly, please. Once you're on your belly, bring your arms alongside your torso. Bring your chin to the floor and bend your knees. Reach back, hold the tops of your feet with your hands. If that's not attainable for you today, you can bring your arms or keep your arms alongside your torso, palms facing up. If you have your feet, hug your heels in toward your hips. Maybe widen your knees a little bit more if you need. As you tighten your glutes, press your hips down into the floor. Everyone, try to lift your chest up, shoulders out, up and away from the floor. Squeeze your shoulders onto your back as you look forward. You can stay here, work here, or kick your feet up and back into your hands. Maybe lift your thighs, look forward. Maybe lift up a little bit higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, lower down. Release your feet. Come on to hands and knees. From hands and knees, bring your knees all the way together once again. Reach your right arm off to the right or up, and thread your right arm underneath you and off to the left. Lower your right shoulder, the outer edge or the right side of your face on the floor. Even out the weight distribution in your knees, meaning avoid swaying, letting your hips sway off to the left and right. Try to keep your hips in towards center. Maybe crawl your left fingertips up above the crown of your head to straighten your left arm. Attempt to move your armpit away from your mat. Stack your shoulders, so left shoulder on top of your right. Crawl your left hand back in front of your feet. Press back up, hands and knees. Second side, lift your left arm up. Thread your left arm underneath you and off to the right. Lower your left shoulder, left side of your face to the floor. Keep your right fingertips in front of your face. Just squeeze your knees in, square your hips. Maybe crawl your fingertips forward above the crown of your head and forward. Just straighten your right arm. Try to move your armpit back, hollow out your armpit as you twist. Or the left side of your belly, off to the right. Slowly crawl your right hand back in front of your face. Press up to hands and knees. Come into downward facing dog for one moment. From downward facing dog, bring your right knee forward just behind your right wrist. Make sure your right heel is diagonally underneath your left hip. So your shin should be at an angle. The top of your right foot comes to the floor. As you wiggle your left foot back, up. You can take a look back at your left foot. Make sure it's in line with your left hip. Bring your hands out in front of you. Try to square your hips. So your hips won't be square here naturally, but make the action of moving your left hip forward, your right hip back. tighten your glutes, and maybe fold forward. Bring your forearms to or towards the floor. Use your breath to access the stretch, the larger part of your glutes. Slowly come back up onto your hand. Pause here. Lower the outer edge of your right hip to the floor. Bend your left knee. Reach back with your left hand. Hold onto your left foot. And bring your right hand forward and out to the right. So you're kind of leaning a little bit more weight onto your right hand as you pull your left heel toward your left hip. Press your right foot down. Lift your sternum up as you move your shoulders back slightly. Release your left foot if you have it. Slide or bring your left foot all the way forward, out in front of you. Square your hips or adjust your seat as needed. You can keep your left foot as it is, or step your left foot outside your right knee. With your fingertips back behind you, sit up nice and tall. Stay here, work here, or reach your right arm up. Stretch up and twist off to the left. Place your right elbow outside your left knee. Look over your right shoulder, maybe down toward your left foot. Slowly untwist. Bring your right shin parallel to the floor. So this is going to be a little bit of an intense way to come into this pose, logs of fire. So option here is to simply cross your legs as if you were having a seat in kindergarten class, if that makes sense. Or you can bring your left ankle on top of your right knee and stack your shins as you flex your feet and flare your toes. It's going to be a slightly different stretch in our left hip. Forward, fold forward to increase the stretch. Inhale, come back up to center. Uncross, plant your hands out in front of you. Come back to downward facing dog on this other side of your mat. This time bring your left knee forward, just behind your left wrist. Your left shin should be at an angle, so your left heel should land more or less below your right hip this time. And wiggle your right foot back until you can set your right knee, the top of your right foot to the floor. And look back, make sure your right foot is in line with your right hip. Come up high onto your fingertips. Move your right hip forward, left hip back. Tighten your glutes. Maybe fold forward. Or pigeon two, second side. Stretching our left gluteus maximus muscles, different part of our hip. Use your breath, as always, to access or even assess how your body's feeling, where you might need more relaxation, less tension. Slowly come back up onto your hands. Lower the outside of your left hip to the floor. So you're kind of almost at a seat. Bend your right knee back behind you. Catch onto the top of your right foot and move your left hand forward. A couple hand prints and off to the left. Move more weight onto your left hand. Squeeze your shoulders onto your back as you pull your right heel in toward your right hip. Now to increase the stretch, even though we've been doing thigh stretches here and there through class, to increase the stretch, you would move your right knee back in space or along your mat until your right knee is in line with your left knee. That's going to be the most intense. Or you can keep your right knee closer to your left foot. Slowly release your right foot. Bring your right foot all the way forward. Have a seat. Your left heel should land somewhere along or outside your right hip. Your fingertips back behind you. Keep your right foot as it is, out in front of you, or step your right foot outside your left thigh. Stay here as you lift your torso up. Maybe lift your left arm up, reach up, and you twist off to the right. Place your left elbow outside your right knee. Look over your left shoulder, and maybe down toward your right foot. Slowly untwist. Bring your left shin parallel to the short edge of your mat. Maybe bring your right ankle on top of your left knee. Stack your shins forward. Again, option here to cross opposite shin in front of the shin you did on the first side. As you sit upright, nice and tall, or gradually fold forward. Folded forward, slowly come back upright. Uncross your legs. Set your feet back on the floor. Lie down onto your back once again. Bring your feet wide. This time let your knees fall into touch. Place your hands anywhere on your torso that brings you comfort, or rest your arms alongside your torso. You can stay here, work here. This is a great option for an active rest, a little more lenient on our low backs. Or you can begin to straighten your legs out onto your mat as you rest your arms alongside your torso. Point your palms up towards the ceiling and let your shoulders become heavy. Your hips become heavy. Soften your belly as you soften your jaw, your breath. Use the next few moments to recognize the work, the intention that you've put into your practice, your body, for the sake of your recovery, your longevity, your life force. Enjoy your breath, knowing that you showed up to practice today and that you've done your best. begin to deepen your breath. Move your breath down in through your belly, up into your rib cage, sternum, your shoulders. As you exhale, out through your shoulders, your chest, all the way down into your belly. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, your ankles and your wrists. One at a time, bring your feet back to the floor. Send your right arm just above your head. Use it as a pillow as you roll to your right side and pause. Keep your belly soft as you use the strength of your arms to press back up to a seated position. You come to a comfortable seat, soften your gaze or close your eyes. As you place your hands where they're most comfortable for you. We end with the word namaste, which is typically used as a greeting, like a hello or a goodbye. But in Western yoga, it's become a word, a phrase to recognize the good, the light, the harmony in ourselves and each other. Namaste. Thank you all very much for coming to practice today. If you have any questions, again, my name is Rob. Please let me know. We'll be here. And for those of us who joined online, I didn't see any comments pop up, but if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put those in the comments below. Thank you so much. Take care.